Everybody, today is Wednesday. We are here live on MMA Junkie Radio, the show before the show. I am Goz, that is George, that is Dan. When I point up to the sky, that's Danny Okers.
Demi.
Okers. What's up, everybody? Alright.
Alright.
Coming up in a minute.
On to pressing
1 minute.
matters.
It's dark and cloudy and rainy here, so it's one of those sleepy days already. Like, I'm out of it.
I like that. That's perfect weather.
I don't like that weather. I'm not like I'm not motivated to get up and like work out and get to work on time and stuff.
No?
With that weather. That's like the weather I'd want it to be if I was sick. Like I'm not missing
the weather
like
I'd want it to be every day.
coming up to 30. I don't like that weather at all.
Danny, you talk.
I don't know what's up. Hey,
What's
everybody. Dan included.
Yeah, what's going on?
You should watch my show tonight.
All right.
It's my show tonight.
What
Which
time
I
is
can-
popping off at?
It is 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. And we are coming up in 5.
And
Stand
I
by.
can find that on YouTube?
Yep. I'll send you a link.
Okay.
This is your captain speaking. We are making our descent into Las Vegas McCarran Airport. On behalf of our crew, we'd like to thank you for flying MMAjunkie Airlines. Now please fasten your seatbelts and put your tray tables in your upright position because the descent is gonna be a little bit bumpy.
Alright, Junkie Nation, it's time to roll, baby, on MMA Junkie Radio with Gorgeous George and Goz. This is what we doing while we do it, baby. All night long, we rollin'! Yeah!
The MMA Junkie Radio revolution is upon us.
Can you dig it?
There's no escape. No escape. Through the vast frontier of cyberspace and through a sea of stars in outer space.
One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
We've solidified our combat communication stranglehold.
We are controlling transmission.
With the use of MMA Junkie Radio and SiriusXM satellite radio technology. MMA Junkie Radio. Commence transmission. Live from MMA Junkie Radio HQ in the fight capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada. Here are your hosts, Gorgeous George and Goz.
From the fight capital of the world, inside the beautiful Mandalay Bay Racing Sportsbook, you are listening to the MMA Junkie Radio Show, the only show that matters. I'm your host, Gorgeous George. With me, as always, is the devious and dastardly Goz. He's our ace co-host. To my left, it's the fight analyst, Dan Tom, back east somewhere in New York at the SiriusXM studios. Danny Otto producing the show, as always. And our special co-host for the day, Big Pretty Justin Willis. What's up, man? Thanks for showing up. Thanks for coming by. Cool. Hey, congrats on last Saturday. Let's start off with that. For some reason, though, I'm watching towards the end, and you were kind of hanging your head almost like if you had lost. You won. Why were you a little dejected?
I'm an imperfect perfectionist.
I can't. Go ahead.
Let me have you switch headphones really quick for a second.
Yeah. Hello.
There you go.
Hey,
There we go.
Okay.
I'm an imperfect perfectionist, man. So I like to go out there and put on a great show, and I just felt like I could have gave a better show. So
Well, the first round was awesome.
yeah,
You know, so it's human combat against another tough guy.
yeah,
You don't get to the UFC unless you're pretty legit.
yeah,
So you should be proud. But, you know, the positive that came out of that is you got some really valuable cage time.
I did. I learned a little bit, and I learned what I have to push. I learned what I have to do if you know, a lot of guys, they're used to roll them over. You know what I mean? So this guy was tough. I need to change mindset so that when adversity hits, I'm able to overcome a lot better.
So that first round, you put it on him.
Yeah.
And what I was impressed with was you could have really emptied the gas tank.
Yeah.
But it seemed like you used patience, experience, and then you, I think, said to yourself, there's going to be another occasion, which
Yeah.
eventually that didn't come. But either way, that's something that a lot of fighters, they don't have that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of them empty the tank, second round they come in, and that's it. That's all she wrote.
Yeah.
But I was impressed with that. I was impressed with just the moments that you did have. I mean, I'm trying to look at a lot of things that others don't. Just your conservation of energy. You don't move around too much anyway, but I could just tell that you were being very smart out there.
Yes, sir.
Because Chase also had some moments where he started to turn momentum, and to thwart that, that's like when your offense is out there and you get to the goal line and then maybe there's a fumble or something.
Yes, sir.
Well, you still got to play some defense, you know what I mean, and not let him score. So all that was pretty impressive to watch.
I appreciate it, brother. I appreciate it, but I could do much better. And I will.
Yeah, and you're only 8 fights into your career. You're 7-1 overall, 3-0 in the UFC.
Yes, sir.
4 KOs,
Yeah,
and like I said, I don't think anybody left there going, man, Justin didn't show. I mean, you put it on him, like I said early on, and credit to Chase. Chase was a tough cat.
He survived.
Yeah, and but you get us excited about the next fight booking. You know what I mean? That's what fans and media want.
Yes,
so
sir.
once we get past this show, we start going like, oh, who's in Rio de Janeiro? Who's in Chicago? Who's in Chile? All these cards that are coming up. And there's that 3-month cycle if the fighter's healthy. Which, are you healthy?
I'm good.
Okay. And around that time, it's man, there's nothing better than opening up MMAjunkie, the app. It's available, by the way, on all tablets and smartphones. But you open it up, or you open up your computer, and then you see a fighter like yourself, like Willis versus someone somewhere. That gets me jacked up as a fan. You know what I mean?
Man.
And that comes from those prior performances that you start to build a little bit of equity.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, man. Yeah.
So what brings you to Vegas? Is it to blow off some steam or UFC PI? Or
going to the UFC PI, get them to work on me a little bit, and had a doctor's appointment, but actually just coming here and just actually take a sight. Looking around, brother.
Looking around. All right. Gambling too, or?
No, I don't do none of that. I don't give my money away for free, man.
Sometimes they give it away.
Oh, no, man. The
if
game.
If you're in the right place at the right time when you pull.
Not even one. Just hey, let's see what happens.
See, in Vegas, the game is rigged for them. That's why I like fighting, because the game is rigged for me.
I like that.
You dig?
Yeah, I got you.
So
you just never gamble?
No, man.
Okay. Not even like back home.
No, man.
The lotto when it gets up to like 800 million.
No, man.
Never.
I'll make that myself.
800 million.
We gonna be talking ducats real soon, baby.
Oh wow. Okay, so you're here to conduct business. Would you rip up a contract and say I want a new one, or what?
I can't talk about all that. No, we ain't on that level yet, but eventually we will be.
Okay. Do you drink?
No.
No drinking?
No.
Okay.
If one of us puts $5 in a slot machine, will you pull the handle? It's not your money, but
it's your money. Okay, yeah. If you want me to do it,
we did that once with Yushin Okami. We put $20. He said, "I'm the worst gambler. That's why I never do it." He didn't win one time.
He was terrible.
He was terrible.
Yeah, I thought maybe he might just have that beginner's luck or something.
Yeah, not my money, man. We're gonna go ahead and just make it up, work for myself, and start my businesses. And
don't you kind of want to get him to do it?
Kinda.
So in other words, like if we throw 20, will you throw in 5?
No, I won't throw in nothing.
Damn it.
Yeah, man.
Well, he doesn't play the lotto either. He said. Okay, you don't drink. Do you go clubbing or to the pool or?
I go to the pool.
Big pools, yeah.
I go to the pool, man. But my life is pretty streamlined. Just fighting, man. Everything has to do with fighting. I'm gonna take this sport over. I'm not. People gotta listen to my words.
Yeah.
My words have never been empty since I've been a little boy. So I will fulfill them all.
Are we bad influences right now? Like, how close is she to murdering us?
No, not bad influence at all, man. I got too much self-control for all that.
Trying to figure him out. He's like an enigma over here, you know what I mean?
But we have 2 hours to do it.
I know, and I'm waiting to see if he's going, man, I'm just bullshitting. But you're not. Okay, did you ever drink?
I have, yeah.
Okay, and then you just decided. Because yesterday's guest, Julian Marquez, UFC middleweight, the Cuban Missile Crisis, he says he hasn't drank for the last 2 years. And he was kind of on point with what you're saying. I decided it's my career, and I just want to focus and have no distractions. And he says he may have just given it up forever, but at least while he's a MMA fighter, he's not drinking.
This is my life. If it doesn't have to do with benefiting me when it comes to these fights and me going in war with another man, then I can't do it, man. I'm sacrificing everything, and a lot of these guys don't have the discipline to do the same thing I'm doing. So that's one of my advantages.
Have you learned?
Pretty cool.
In the time that when you went to the PI, what's like? Everybody always talks about the one thing that they didn't know, and now they know. Have they done anything like that for you yet? Any tests? Anything?
Oh man,
that has surprised you?
I had a test where they did that full scan thing, and I'm blessed. I'm a tank.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a tank.
They didn't say like your iron's low or your
my bone
calcium's
everything
this.
is I'm
you're okay. So
I
you
was
got
blessed for this.
You got the whole run of the gamut.
I'm
blood works good.
Good to go.
Yeah. Okay.
Good to go.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, man.
That actually probably elevated your confidence even more. Now you can get back to AKA and like turn it up a notch. Not that gym don't go hard, but you know what I mean.
I'm turning it up a notch. You know, now a lot of my training AKA is becoming individualized. So that's oh my God, it's time.
Okay, and what does that mean? You get more of a focus from the coaches?
One-on-one coaching, you know what I mean? So, you know, before AKA, everything is a vie for attention, a vie for coaching, because it's the who's who. And now I'm becoming one of the who's who.
Oh, I see. That's true.
Yeah.
A few of the fighters are just either injured, retiring, moving on, things like that, right?
No, there's still who's
like
there. I mean,
well, like, for example, Luke moved on.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure. I don't
Well, it's nothing that's not public. Like, he's been on our show.
Okay.
And there he kind of clicked in Florida. He still loves the AKA. I think he's welcomed back, but it seems like he's there more than San Jose. DC, well, I'm sure he's starting a camp now, but like he was in Vegas for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Kane has been hurt. I mean, I'm not asking you to divulge stuff from, but you know what I mean? It's like a new generation is going to come through because DC's also stated he's not going past March of 2019, I think he said. Yeah. So there's you won't be seeing him.
It's my time. It's my time. So I'm just building. All these fights are nothing but, you know, canvas. I'm drawing on them, and then the next canvas will look even clearer, look even smoother. And so I can't wait for the next opportunity to perform in front of the world.
What's the next canvas look like?
Oh man, I'm building it right now, baby. You know,
you got the paintbrush. You could tell us.
Man, I'm building it, man. Excellence.
Yeah.
Excellence. That's all I can say. Excellence, sacrifice, greatness.
You ever seen Rocky 3?
I mean, I've seen it, but you got to recall parts of it.
At the very end, remember when they have that little sparring match, him and Apollo, and then the credits roll, and it turns into kind of like a painting, and it's a painting of them both throwing.
Yes, I have. Yeah, there you go.
Right. In your painting, who's the other guy on the other side?
In sparring or fighting?
No, I'm fighting. Next fight.
Oh, who would I want? Anybody in the top 15.
That's a big picture, though.
Anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll become focused as we get closer to the event, but. You know, anybody in the top 15 can get it. That's all I want, top 15 guys now.
Top 15?
Yeah, tell these guys to put it on the line and give your boy a chance.
So you were in the UFC PI just to do athletic work and
yeah, I have an appointment today.
You didn't go in to visit the people that have ties and suits and write checks and stuff like that?
No, man. I let my managers take care of that, and I just give the yes or no after that.
How many, like, this is your third fight so far, right?
Yeah.
And how many more fights do you have before you get to a new contract?
I don't know, man. I ain't got to talk to my management about that, you know.
You don't know that?
Yeah, I know it.
Oh, you didn't? Well, I was like, I don't know. Talk to the management. Like, most people sign 4 fights, 6 fights, 8 fights. I'm just wondering if you're halfway through or you're on your last one, things like that.
Oh, mine was a 4 fight.
Okay, so then right around now, I think the UFC comes to you and says, before you fight that last fight, they'll probably want to do something. Then some fighters choose to fight the contract out. And it's a little bit of the roll of the dice, but, like, for example, if you were to go 4-0, man, like, all of a sudden you have a little bit more leverage. And then, obviously, if you sign before that 4th fight, you have your security going into the 4th fight. Some fighters choose for the security. Others roll the dice a little bit. Where do you sit? What side do you sit on?
All I care about is winning. That's it, man. At the end of the day, this money stuff doesn't really matter to me, man. It's about my legacy. Point blank, period. My legacy. The money will come.
Man, that's like the opposite of what we heard the other day, right? With Derek Lewis. He was the flip side. He was like, it's all about money. I'll fight the same dude over and over if they give me the right amount. So you're all about legacy.
I'm all about legacy, man.
So when people look up when they look up your name 30 years from now, what's that one thing that you want?
The greatest fight of all time.
Greatest fight?
Greatest fighter of all time.
Fighter of all time?
Yes, sir.
Wow. Not even the greatest heavyweight, the greatest fighter of all time.
We got to shoot straight for the moon, man.
What's your relationship like with Kane and DC?
They're cool, man. My brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Okay. You're, I guess, I mean, you're 30 if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes, sir.
30, and then what's Kane, about 34 or something?
34, I believe, yeah.
Yeah, so you won't even really have to worry too much about if his return will coincide with your run, or and then with DC also making his move, you're still probably like 2-3 fights away from us talking title talk stuff, right?
I'll say about 2 fights.
2 fights, because
if not one after this next one.
Are you like a historian of the sport?
I know one thing: there hasn't been a black heavyweight champion in the last I don't know how many years, if there ever was one. Maury Smith, right?
Yeah,
the only one. So it's time for another one.
Huh. Yeah, that's it, right? Okay.
Did Randleman win it?
Randleman lost to Boss Fruiten.
Yeah,
and I don't believe he ever. Yeah, no, that was a close one. Man. That was a close one.
Yeah, I guess he's right.
So my question to you is, well, what I was going to tell you is, do you remember the whole triangle with Koscheck, Swick, and Fitch back in the day?
About the same weight class stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'd get question after question, would you guys ever fight each other? And it annoyed them. But the problem was they were all like top 5. And they also, none of them could get past. That's when GSP was ruling the world, you know what I mean? And so media also knew that, well, at some point, there's going to have to be a fight here.
Y'all fish. I mean, that's media's job to fish for stories.
Right.
You know, it is what it is. But right now, I believe it's set up that they're on their exit. I'm on my ascension. You know, so and that's just how it goes.
And that's fair. That's fair to say. I've seen that with gyms when there's like a push behind a certain fighter.
Yeah.
And then the fighter themselves will just sometimes go, man, it's so-and-so's time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
While they regroup, you know, unless they've had a long run and they're always near a title shot, which Kane is an all-time great.
All-time.
He can always be there, but, you know, he hasn't fought since UFC 200, and we're pushing on 2 years now. So, you know, it's fair to say, wow, will he ever come back? About a year ago, you'd go, oh, he'll come back. He's Kane. But now it's been a while, so I don't know. But I guess that's, yeah, you're right. I guess we are fishing a little bit what's going to happen in the end. But I believe you're kind of like a cycle of 18 months or so behind those guys anyway, you know?
There you go, yeah.
Yeah.
There's no timing better than God's timing, man. It's always perfect. It's always perfect. So what's going on right now, whatever ends up happening, I put it all in his hands.
You know that little triangle George brought up, and then, you know, some of the guys that are there today? You can't just walk in there and be one of the boys, right? It takes time to get to know these guys, for them to trust you. How long did that take for you?
You gotta understand, we're all alpha males, especially AKA. You're talking about the big dogs are the big dogs, you know. So it took time. Obviously, it took time, but I'm there now.
Yeah,
I'm ready. This is my time. Take over the sport.
What about the flip side? When the new guy comes in for you, how long does it take you to kind of get to know someone, trust someone?
We're all different. I mean, trust is one of those things that it's earned. It's really earned. So it'll take them time. I go with them a few times and really feel what the spirit's like, and we'll go from there.
What about George and I? Where are we at? Like 20% right now? We built anything?
I don't know. You guys are cool though. You know?
Yeah, we're okay so far.
Yeah.
All right.
I wouldn't let you watch my dog or nothing, but
we haven't made it to that yet.
Nah, man.
We got to be fair. We gotta know what kind of dog it is, right? Too.
That's true.
Yeah, if it's the right dog, we might be hiding in the closet or something.
If it's a Belgian Malinois German Shepherd mix, I probably wouldn't want to watch your dog. What kind of a dog do you have?
It's a mutt. You know. I went the adoption route. It's a little mutt, little white, black mutt thing. We don't know what it is.
I could watch it. Because I'm looking at his hands and he's like this. If he would have done something like that, then
you travel with it? Is it up in your room?
Oh yeah, it's in the hotel we're at. Yeah.
Okay. You carry him obviously because of the size, right? He doesn't go on
a leash.
No, but when you travel, did you
plane?
drive here?
No, we drive.
Oh, you drive
from Cali, yeah.
Okay, so you flew home from Atlantic City, and then from Cali you drove here.
Drove here.
And why did you not fly?
You know,
just you don't like flying?
I do like flying.
Okay.
Mine. Yeah.
She doesn't like flying?
Nah, we just like to go on the road sometimes.
Man. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, what kind of whip do you got? You got like a SUV or something?
We got a Jaguar and a Mazda.
Ah, nice.
Yeah, man.
Who drives what?
Mazda, Jaguar.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what's the dog's name?
Prince.
Just one dog?
One dog.
Named after, are you the king and he's the prince, or named after the famous singer?
I'm king.
You're the king?
Yes, sir.
That's a cool shirt. Who designed that one?
I did, actually. Like that, huh?
Yeah, that is cool.
You
have like a line of them, or that's
it's a line of them, man. About to come out real soon. But yeah, I'm starting to wear them to publicize them. And yeah, man, be pretty, baby.
Oh, Be Pretty.
Yeah,
I thought that was an IG somewhere, Big Pretty. So Be Pretty.
Yeah.
Okay, and you just kind of doodled it one day and said, hey, that should go on a shirt?
Yeah, doodled it. I had help with one of my friends, actually. Actually, Shy, one of people I work at the desk at AK, helped me design it.
Nice.
Yeah, man.
How long have you been at AK?
6 years now.
Okay. So after Luke showed up, right?
Mm-hmm.
What Luke once told us.
After Luke showed where?
To AKA.
Okay, he was there before me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Luke told us that a story years later.
Okay.
So we've had him on the show many times.
Okay.
But he told us years later that because of his surfer look, you know.
Yeah.
That he felt like he wasn't being taken serious, and because DC's one of the kind of like, you know, he's a class clown but also a leader. He felt like he needed to pick a fight with him, and he did.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and they went at it. And I think Luke even admits it didn't go well for me, but I think I earned some respect that day. So going back to what Goes asked you, was it like that for you, you know, where there was some resistance at first, maybe take an ass whooping or two, and then all of a sudden it's like, come on, come here, you're one of the gang, or
I don't like to talk too much about what goes on in the gym, but yeah, when you first get to AKA, you got to go through the gamut of sparring. I'll tell you that much. And I came in there not knowing much. I came in there just a raw athlete, so I had to take my licks.
Mm-hmm. What was the remember the show they had? There was a little bit of that there.
There was a reality show. Were you around for the reality?
I was on it.
Yeah?
That was my first fight.
What was it called?
Fight Factory.
Fight Factory. That was good.
Yeah.
As soon as he brought that up, I started thinking of that.
Yeah, I was on the first one of the shows.
Okay. I mean, I don't recall it too well because
it's the fight that my only fight I lost, the one in Denver. Mm-hmm. We went up to Denver and yeah, didn't go too well.
Hey,
the Baroni was on that show.
I was same episode.
He man, he had it rough. We like Baroni. He lives in Vegas.
Oh yeah, he's the man.
And he had a rough go of it on that show, you know, where there was just I don't know. There was doubts and
oh man, I was
tough to see.
I think it happens.
We fought on that same card in Denver. Baroni's the man. I'll tell you that much. He's just the man. He does his thing, man, and you got to respect it.
Mm-hmm. What did you learn that night? A lot of fighters talk about the loss and what it does for them.
Outwork them all.
Say what?
Outwork them all.
Oh, outwork them. Okay.
Outwork them all. That's what I learned from that night. Even though it was altitude, all the excuses in the world, man, I could have had. But what I did was I started to get on my grind and start to build my team around me, and now we're here. Now we're here. That's all I could say.
You work with Hav and Bob?
No, I work with Hav every blue moon, but I have my own coaches. I have my coaches Zach Parrish, who's another coach, and Ron Kessler, who's the coach of the jiu-jitsu program at American Kickboxing Academy. I have a new coach I'm bringing on. I'm my strength and conditioning coach over at San Jose State. We're cooking. We're cooking.
Hav and Bob don't oversee anything? Or
for me?
Yeah.
Hav, of course, is the man.
Yeah.
Hav is the man. He's the man at AKA. So, yeah, he makes sure the final product.
He's the head coach, right?
Yeah, and everybody.
Bob seems to be everyone's cornerman. What's his label, I guess, technically?
With me?
Assistant coach for the team?
I mean, I respect Bob's input and whatnot, but no, he doesn't really have too much of a hands-on with me at all.
Can I ask why that is? I mean, I always thought that the fighters that are on like the type of trajectory that you are, especially with the kind of goals you have and how serious you take the sport, it always seems like the high-profile coaches gravitate that way at some point. You know what I mean?
Of course. But I have my own management. My management is first-round management.
Okay.
So you know, I went on a different route management-wise. And
versus Zinkin and the relationship with the coach.
Exactly.
I got you. Okay.
You know, which is you know how that goes.
Mm-hmm.
But I had to choose what's best for me and my family.
Very cool. What is your family?
Oh, my wife, just my wife.
But okay, so no kids.
No kids.
Okay, and then we said one dog. That's it.
One dog. Yeah.
No pets. No turtles.
Two cats.
Two cats.
Yeah.
Do they get along or?
Of course.
How'd they figure that one out? Because little dogs are, you know, they.
I mean, I'm so cool, calm, and collected. They usually go after their owner, right? So I get along with everybody.
Oh, okay. So you're like the calm energy force for everyone else.
I mean,
so the dog kind of like looks at you and goes, "I can fuck them up if you want," but then you look at them like, "No, man, we're all good here," and then the dog just chills.
Good, yeah.
And the cats get along too.
They get along.
What are their roles in the house? Dogs got security down, right? What do the cats do?
Don't do a motherfucking thing.
That's it?
Yes.
Cats are lazy,
the best life in the world, man. Eat, sleep, shit. That's it.
They get mad at you when they want. That's the only thing I don't like about cats is
they
you
yell
never
at you.
know when they're going to get.
Exactly, man.
At least
would you like to come back as a dog or a cat? If you had to come back as one of the two.
Me? I would rather not come back. I'm a lion.
But
a lion?
A lion. Well, yeah, I mean, but if not a lion, just you're only allowed to come back as a cat or a dog. Which one would you choose?
I'm not gonna put that voodoo on me.
Hey, but
How about you guys?
well, I thought about what he was saying. If you're a lion, yeah, you're the king of the jungle, but it's hot as fuck wherever you're at, right? Unless you're like at some zoo and now you're stuck there. So it's gonna be really hot, and you gotta hunt for your food.
Yeah.
He's right. If you're a
take
dog or
that,
a
Justin.
cat, you can just kind of sit around and you could still watch the UFC.
That's not my swag.
Now you just want to be a lion.
Yep.
Man,
With the big mane and everything.
Everything.
All right. I'm gonna go through this top 15 here,
Okay.
and then we'll see. You can either like light up, like yeah, that means that's who I want to fight. You know, I want to see what kind of poker game you got. All right. All right. So Justin Willis, who's 7-1 overall, he's already defeated James Mulheron, Alan Crowder, and Chase Sherman, and he wants a top 15 guy. So I'm going on the USA Today MMA Junkie rankings here. We're gonna work off how most matchmaking happens.
Okay.
Fighters coming off a win versus fighters coming off a win.
Yeah.
All right. If there's a name dangling out there and he's coming off a loss, obviously we'll strongly consider it. But here we go. Marcin Tybura, he defeated Verdum, right?
No, he lost.
He lost to Verdum.
Yep.
What was his last fight? Marcin Tybura.
I was supposed to fight him in Brooklyn too. My first fight in the UFC.
Were you? And what happened?
That's when that was that.
Yeah, so he lost to Derek and Fabricio. Okay. Wow. Okay. And who beat Fabricio in London? Oh, Volkov. Volkov. There you go. All right. So we'll rule out Marcin Tybura. What's Stefan Struve do in his last fight?
He lost.
He lost to Andrei Arlovsky. That's right. All right. So he's out, and that's 2 losses in a row for him. But would you fight guys that have kind of a little bit of name value, even though they're coming off a loss?
I want wins.
You want wins. Okay. Andrei Arlovsky's already tied up. He's got a fight booking already. So we'll. Blagoy Ivanov. Now, Blagoy Ivanov is not on the PFL Professional Fighters League. He's not in that $1 million tournament. Did you guys know that?
yeah,
There's rumors, I think, that he's going to the UFC.
could be.
Yeah. And 16-1 overall, former World Series of Fighting champion. He never really was part of PFL, like what we can call him a former PFL champ, but former WSOF champion. I think
He's got Ray in the gym, so you would imagine if that was the route he wanted to get to, he could make that happen.
Right, right. And he's got a key win here. Sorry, he's got a loss over Alexander Volkov. That's his only loss ever, and that's the guy who's kind of on a good run in the UFC right now. But that's just a name out there. You may have heard it here first. Who knows? Josh Barnett just got cleared from USADA. He's a veteran of, former UFC champ, and he's won so many fights. His last win was 2016. It was Andrei Arlovsky. What about something like that where it's the old guard versus the new guard?
Whatever they have for me, man. I'm down.
Because now we're at number 14. Ben Rothwell's on suspension. Derek Lewis has Francis Ngannou. Matt Mitrione fights for Bellator. Mark Hunt's coming off a loss. Curtis Blades has the Ream. Junior Dos Santos just got cleared. Was this last Stipe?
Yeah, it should be.
He hasn't fought since then? But he's Junior Dos Santos. You see what I'm saying? What about Junior Dos Santos?
If that's what they want.
Yeah. Of all these names, which one are you more warming up to?
Warm towards all of them.
Really? You don't have a personal favorite?
I like the junior one for him.
Junior might be interesting. Josh might be interesting as well. Volkov. See, I think Volkov is next for the winner of Stipe and DC. If Ngannou wins, because I don't think they'll do Ngannou and Stipe again so soon.
What about Kane?
Well, Kane has not declared himself like healthy, like ready to take. You want to fight Kane?
No.
Oh,
I'm
you
just
mean
saying for the title?
Yeah,
stuff.
no. Hey, as soon as he comes back,
Yeah.
he's legit, man. He's an all-time great.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys you just bring to the front of the line.
Exactly.
Right this way, sir.
Yes.
But we haven't heard anything.
Okay.
We just keep hearing at some point in 2018, and I think I heard in an interview maybe late 2018. So yeah, whenever he's ready to come back, of course, he's Cain Velasquez. But we haven't heard much. Do you know anything? I know you don't like to talk about it, but anything positive? Like, have you heard?
He's getting better.
Yeah?
He's getting better.
All right, cool. I mean, that'd be great. I'd love to see that. All right, I'll tell you what. Let's take a break. You're listening to MMA Junkie Radio on Sirius XM Rush 93. We have UFC heavyweight Justin Willis here in studio here with us. He's coming off a win over over Chase Sherman at UFC Fight Night 128 this past Saturday in Atlantic City. Stay close. We'll be right back after these messages.
Yo, this is something coming from the 90s. Another back track, so rhythm.
They are the stretch marks on the underbelly of the MMA community. But hey, stretch marks are the new tats. They are Gorgeous George and Goes.
The 2018 NFL Draft is here tomorrow night at 8 Eastern. Hear every pick in the first round, interviews with players after they've been selected, and analysis from Gil Brandt, Pat Kerwin, and Jim Miller on the SiriusXM NFL Radio 2018 NFL Draft Show. Live from AT&T Stadium in Dallas on Channel 88 and on the SiriusXM app. This is a serious question here, Justin.
Okay.
Who's your NFL squad?
Man, ever since they did that to Colin, I'm kind of distanced myself completely from the NFL. But before that, it was the Cowboys.
I'm about to distance myself from you. That's the squad I hate the most. So you were a Niners fan. Wait, first you were a Cowboys fan, then became a Niners fan?
No. I'm not a like.
Did you mean Colin? Is it Colin Kaepernick?
Colin Kaepernick,
okay.
yeah. So I'm
just what happened to him distanced you from the Cowboys
from the
and
NFL,
the NFL.
In general. So I don't really fuck with the NFL whatsoever.
But you were a Cowboy fan.
Growing up, yes.
Man, he's a 49er fan. I'm a Redskins
Bay,
fan.
right?
I'm from the Bay.
You live in the Bay now, but you're from the Bay.
Yep.
And you just wanted to be the contrarian to everybody, or?
I mean, we all know during history, a lot of my people are from the South.
Okay.
Straight up. So a lot of them come from down south. So a lot of my people, my family, are actually Cowboy fans.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So you weren't too popular in school, right? Wearing the stars and stuff.
Oh, I wasn't popular at all. I was the lone kid, you know, that chilled by himself at the table. I was that kid.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why?
I was doing me.
Okay.
Yeah. I had my friends. I had a few friends, you know.
Did you play sports in high school?
I did.
And your teammates, you still even kept your distance from them too?
Some of them, of course.
What did you what sports did you play?
I did track, wrestling, and football.
You're not gonna get mad if I go, were you a shot put or discus guy? Because you don't
Yeah,
appear to be a sprinter.
I was, but I did sprinting.
You did?
At Valley Christian, yeah.
Oh, Big Pretty's got wheels.
Come on, man.
Really? Okay.
Come on, man. Best athlete out here.
Okay.
Yeah.
As in this room or in the UFC?
In the UFC for sure.
In this room too. I think you got us there too.
No,
you got wheels?
No.
I had okay wheels, but I just tore my patellar tendon like
I moved
8 months
really
ago,
fast.
So I can't even run.
Like his legs go really fast, but he goes really slow.
But I don't go anywhere.
Yeah.
But everything moves really quickly.
That's why I did martial arts, because I was terrible. I was getting outrun by like the fat kids in class. It was so embarrassing. That was like the worst day of the year for me. It was when we had to do run tests. I was like, oh no.
Did you ever watch Scooby-Doo?
Not really.
No? You know how Scooby and Shaggy, they move really fast, but they don't run. That's how I am with running. You could run, but who was it that wanted to race you? Wasn't there a fighter or something?
Steve Straw wanted to race me.
Oh,
but I'm not scared of fighters when it comes to racing, because I've always stated, and I'll do it to their face, I don't think MMA athletes are great athletes.
Yeah, a lot of
now,
them.
you may be the exception, because you're naming off a few sports here, but I've seen them try and shoot hoops. I've seen them try and throw a ball.
Terrible.
But I think what happens is your muscle fibers, you guys just get so strong and like stiff, you know, that there's just no there's no fluidity. You know, so if I hand you a basketball, it's gonna be like, so give me a big brick.
That's the difference between me and the sport is I bring more of a loose approach.
And I believe it. I believe it just from like what Dan was saying. You know, like it is a skill to stand there and have someone like there's you know, if someone's gonna punch me, I'm running and doing all that stuff. You're slipping. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All you need to do is slip a couple inches, and boom, you're in prime position, and that chin's out. Unless they have skills and they're protecting it, poof, you can touch it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I've seen it, and I like that fluidity. And I liked it even when you were the aggressor and when you were countering. I thought that was really slick stuff. And I
appreciate
what Dan was saying is spot on. Like you really have full potential to take this thing to the next level. Like we're seeing that.
Appreciate it.
Staying on that real quick, because to me it's a difference. Obviously, athletes are harder to come by in mixed martial arts, and when we see them, they can do things a lot easier. Their learning curve's a lot shorter. That's pretty clear. It's hard to argue.
Yes.
But then there are certain guys where maybe they have to put a lot of time in, technique, and some guys you see a lot in martial arts, they're good at mimicking. They might not be the best fighters. Maybe they translate more in the gym, but they can mimic stuff really well. They make for great training partners. But when I watch you, it's crazy to hear that you said you came from a straight athlete. You didn't do martial arts background, because when I see you, you know, you're moving from your southpaw stance and countering. You go back, you watch your early fights, you know, your early pro fights, you're changing levels really smooth, you know, when guys come in like a veteran, just when they come in, you're changing your level going under like you're a wrestler. It's really insane to watch that. Can you speak on that? Because I don't want to just say it's athleticism. I feel like it's a crime just to say, oh, well, he's athletic, he can do that, because it feels like there's something more there, man. What's the inspiration? What's your inspirations like on that?
Day in, day out, I get closer to nirvana. Like it's literally a flow state, and my body is just going. I don't know how to explain it, man. Like I'm free, and a lot of these guys just don't have that ability to be free. And that's just what I possess. That's one of my gifts.
Flow state's interesting. You hear people talk about that. We don't hear it too much in fighting, which is weird. Because I would almost argue it would apply more to fighting than football. Obviously, you're going to be a better weighing on that statement that I just made. But you hear athletes, right, talk about that flow state. In basketball, we see it, right? Yeah. Basketball's such a rhythm game. Yeah. That's why I always loved watching it as a kid. It was such a rhythm game. And you can you see guys hit that flow, their own version of what Justin's saying. But you're saying essentially a lot of guys aren't doing that in MMA, you don't think?
No, because a lot of these guys are doing it because of sport. It's like sport. Or they come from wrestling, or they come from this stuff. I come from the school of hard knocks. I come from literally overcoming and surviving. You know what I mean? So a lot of these guys are not fighting like it's life or death. So when you have that type of mindset, it's, to me, I can get into a whole nother, like, literally, it feels like dimension. That's what it literally feels like, man. It's crazy.
So you try and slow the game down
and
watch it in slow motion.
Every fight,
whereas everyone else is in more of a panic.
Every fight is getting slower and slower. Every fight.
I dig that.
I like
every
that.
fight.
Wow.
That is cool.
Yeah.
Can I go back to something for a second?
Yes, sir.
You were saying that in high school you were kind of a loner, right?
Yeah.
And you played sport. You said you played football, you did track, and what was the other one?
Wrestling.
Wrestling. Usually those are the guys that have the most friends.
Yeah.
What happened there?
Well, I'm big, I'm black, I speak my mind. Those are things that in society, when you're a young age, you don't really understand what's really going on. You don't understand that that's just taboo.
Were you in a predominant white school?
So I grew up going from foster home to group homes to juvenile. You know what I mean? I grew up in that lifestyle since I've been 7. So then when I was 15 or so, I moved to Valley Christian High School, which is a very predominant white and rich private school. So they weren't used to that realness. They weren't used to that boldness. They weren't used to that I'm here, right? So I feel like for a few years, who I was, or kind of got curtailed in order to get my education, right? So now what the world is seeing is it's me. It's me.
Do you look back at that time as like a fun time, high school, or was that difficult for you? I
was a time where I just had to be successful. I had to do what I had to do in order to, graduate high school from a affluent high school. In order to go to college, I had to, right? You have to, but that was the last time in my life where I'm playing ball. I'm not playing ball anymore. I'm out here to ball. That's it, point blank, period. So, yeah, that's just a big difference when people are seeing it today.
You sprinted, and what else did you do?
I do shot put and discus.
Oh, so I was right. Okay.
Yeah,
so
you were right. Yeah,
some of the size was utilized.
Yeah.
How well did you do there?
I was okay. Yeah. Like my heart was into, like, I grew up fighting. My heart already knew where it was going.
I see.
It already knew. So
team sports wasn't just going to be your thing.
No,
regardless.
Team sports. That wasn't my skis, man. But I had to graduate college because I made a promise to my grandmother that I would graduate college, and she passed away. And so the way that I graduated from college was to get a football scholarship. I was athletic enough to get one without, and this is the crazy thing to me that I put together now. I got a scholarship without really trying. If that makes any sense at all. My heart wasn't in football.
Gotcha.
I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah. So once I graduated, I made the transition, and the transition was very, very hard because I went to the top gym in the world, literally. So I was a great whale, a great white shark, in a big ocean with other great white sharks that were bigger at that time, and so I knew I was gonna take my lumps, but I always had the mindset to persevere and to keep going through, and so I'm here now. It was all worth it.
Man, that's a real cool story.
Crazy.
Yeah. You want to say something, Dale?
Oh, I misread my mind. I was going to say, I really appreciate those kind of things. And I don't think it's an uncommon thing. And you guys probably know more than me with all the fighters you've interviewed that a lot of the times the successful ones, especially more so than others, it's because they had some type of adversity. You'll see common factors, whether it's you look back at their family life, their background, their upbringing. And you see that, and even teaching martial arts, you see that with students like who come and get attracted, and you see, they might have that extra gear, and why do they have that extra gear? And
Exactly.
it kind of comes with their background. So you're really speaking to a lot of those things, I think, is what you're saying. And
yes.
Like what Goes was saying about high school, that was almost like your molding period, right?
Yeah.
And now after that, you're ready to set your own path pretty much now.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep.
But that whole situation for a lot of people is very easy to slip into darkness.
Oh man,
I've
stayed in homeless shelters. I've stayed in all kinds of stuff. What kept me on track was there's a lot of people in my family that did not stay on track. So it was the like now I don't have a fear of losing. That's like not one of my fears, right? So, but that's why I work so hard at winning. It's I've lost so much in my life that it doesn't matter to me anymore. Point blank period. It just doesn't matter. So I get a chance to push to a whole new gear and push to a whole new mindset. And every day I'm pushing that mindset.
Can I ask you, I know we're kind of already on personal questions, but can we remain personal?
Yeah, of course.
You picking out the dog, you said he's a mutt, right?
Yeah.
And you adopted him. Did any of that hit home? Was there a reason behind that?
I just don't think people should be getting these GMO dogs.
Yeah.
These
from the farms and stuff?
Yeah, from the farms and stuff. You got so many dogs out there that just like myself, just need a chance.
Yeah. Check out Goes, putting the psychology degree to use.
You got to do something.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. All right. So let me clean up a few things here because this is really, really interesting.
Okay.
And again, like Goes said, it's personal. At some point, give us the hand
or
whatever.
Or you can ask us something.
But I feel like a lot of the audience is going to get a kick out of this. We have a young audience that can be stimulated by a professional athlete that had the turnaround that you did.
Yeah.
So you said you were from home to home, right?
Yeah.
And eventually, what was the family that took you in, I guess, that you do call either mom and dad or you're closest to? Or
they were a Caucasian family, not to add color into it, but I was at this I was in a homeless shelter in Redwood City, and one of the males, I was also in a Christian organization called Young Life. I don't know if you guys ever heard of Young Life. So yeah, it's a good group that's linked to a lot of churches, especially in California. And there was a staff member named Greg Olam, and Greg Olam, his family had ties to Valley Christian, especially with the football program. And so that was just a blessed opportunity. He asked me, and I asked him, can I move in with his mother and to go to Valley Christian to get a chance. And they gave me that chance, and I'm forever thankful. I never want to say I'm not thankful. And then that was my junior year. My senior year, I actually moved in with the football coach from Valley Christian, my specific position coach. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then the lady that you moved in with, is that the one you referred to as grandmother earlier, or was this your
her name is Mrs. Olam.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so the grandmother you referred to was your grandmother.
My grandmother, yeah.
Okay, and then how much of your family follows this sport and your career, and what's their support like?
You grow up, and we grow up in this community, especially this the black community. We grow up with a lot of stinking thinking. A lot of people because of PTSD, because of I don't use these as excuses. I'm just a realist. Because I grew up in the inner city, and a lot of people in the inner city have a different way of thinking than the rest of society thinks. And that's just because of where they come from, because of who they're around. And so a lot of people in those positions, a lot of people in those communities don't get a chance to see success stories. So when you see somebody or you're around somebody who have a mindset like mine, and I had my mindset at a very young age. So who's able to mold that, right? God has to send you on some mission, some pilgrimage to find people to help mold that. Because the people in my community, of course, they just didn't know. Nobody has seen success. And as I'm talking now, I've talked like this since I've been little. So you can imagine a big black kid with, haplessly, they believe has no aim, but I was talking like this, and I'm here now. Think about that.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it was really, really hard for them. So I was seen as rebellious and all this kind of stuff.
But you don't come off rebellious.
I know I don't.
You know what I mean?
I know I don't. So you have to understand the thinking of those people back then.
Yeah.
I no longer take that responsibility for their actions. That's why I'm here now.
We got to take another break. It's really deep stuff, but I'm loving it. You're listening to MMA Junkie Radio on Sirius XM Rush 93. Stay close. We'll be right back. Also, if you want to call in, it's 866-522-2846. On your fantasy football team this year. And don't miss live coverage of the NFL Draft from the fantasy football perspective beginning tomorrow night at 8 Eastern on Sirius XM, Sirius 210, XM87, and on the Sirius XM app. That same Sirius XM app houses the MMA Junkie Radio Show commercial free and in HD quality. Big Pretty in studio here with us. This is Justin Willis, who's coming off a big win over Chase Sherman at UFC Fight Night 128. 7-1 overall, 3-0 in the UFC. Looking to land a top 15 opponent here sometime in the summer, can we call it, or the fall? What's your preference?
You know, I need to build. So, like, now every fight, I'm 3-0 now. You know what I mean? So now every fight is for all the bacon. All the fights are all for all the bacon. But I'll probably be fighting sometime around October. Just building, you know.
Vegas has a show in October.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the next.
That's where you're aiming?
That's the next conquest.
Okay. All right. Let's talk to Marco in Waco, Texas. What's up, Marco? How you doing?
Marco from Waco, que Pasadena, I'm Big Pretty.
What it do, baby?
So, I'm keeping an eye on you now, dude. I'm paying attention. I've been listening to you doing the rounds on the media. I like the fact that you're saying that, next fight you're going to try to show up at 250, 255. The Sherman fight, man, you did fantastic on the first and second round. A little worried about the third round, man. If that was a foul round fight, I would have got really interested because Sherman was getting momentum. I know you're going to address all that, man, but as much as you're talking, and I like the way you're going, you need to start calling people out. That is the name of the game, bro. we have junkies here, and we start keeping an eye on a guy because you're one of our guys now. They're there on the desk. They're on the desk.
You're right, brother.
We get a legion of fans that are going to start following you on the forums and stuff. We demand for you to start making some noise, to start calling people out, to keep our interest.
Let me ask you a question.
Keeping an eye. Can
I ask you a question?
Go ahead, brother.
What if I just say anybody can get it?
Anybody can be the guy with the freaking department store on the other corner. That is not. You need to call a name because that's the name of the game.
Hey,
Call Conor McGregor became Conor McGregor because
I tell my coach this.
Don't call people out.
I tell my coach this. I tell my manager this.
Thanks for the call, Marco.
I tell my coaches, I tell my manager this. This is simple. You put a name on the table, I sign the paper. I have been like that from the beginning. One fight in, you know what I mean? That's just how I was raised, man. Fight, fight, fight. Whoever it is can get it.
Is there a matchup, like style matchups that you like?
I am the style. I'm the style hardest to deal with in the UFC.
So whether it's a wrestler, a striker, you don't care?
Come on, man.
But there's not like a favorite one?
Listen. I came up going against the striking of Luke, right? The jiu-jitsu and striking of Luke, the wrestling of Kane and DC, and the striking of both of them. That's partially what I was molded by. I mean, come on, man. Bring it.
Now, what about when you log on to social media? Do you ever go, man, that guy's an asshole. I want to kick his ass.
I don't hate just like anybody. You know, that's just not my nature. You know, so. But if we both sign on that dotted line, it's war.
Okay. All right. Well, we still got another hour to see if we can coax a name out of him. Thanks for the call, Marco. Do you have a question, Dan?
I was going to say, here's something you could do. It fits along I think it fits along what Marco said and doesn't go against your principles.
Okay.
The only question I ask is two things. You want a clean kill, you want to send a message.
You feel me? Seriously. Wait. What do you mean?
It sounds like, was it because that typical, I don't know if fill in the Special Forces movie where the guy gets the contract on the table, and looks at the target. All right, you want a clean kill? You want to send a message? That's what it felt. That's what it felt like you were saying there. Like you were just put like it's business. Just throw the name on the table. Give me a time, a place.
Another day at the office. You're going to see the same me. Before, during, after. But you'll see a more wise, a more streamlined me every single time. A more lucid me. That's it. So these guys on the paper, no, I don't care.
But you did specify top 15.
Yeah, now I have to step up, That's the goal. So anybody in the top 15.
And you also clarified you wouldn't mind fighting in Vegas. I noticed you've never fought in the fight capital of the world.
Yeah.
So at least we're kind of getting somewhere.
So
top 15 in Vegas in October.
Japan. Before I started fighting, Japan. So I'm like going off my checklist. That's just how God has it for me.
Okay.
So I've been to Japan, Atlantic City. You know what I mean? Like, now it's time for me to come take over Vegas.
I like
Step by Detroit. You know what I mean?
You already went to Detroit.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay. All right, folks. This is the top of the hour. We have Justin Willis here in studio here with us, and we got a few more questions for him, and we'll obviously cover the latest news in mixed martial arts. So stay close. We'll be right back. It's MMA Junkie Radio on Sirius XM Rush 93.
Hello? I wish I was a little bit taller. I wish I was a baller. I wish I had a girl who looked good, I would call her. Wish I had a rabbit in a hat with a bat and a 6'4" parlor. I wish I was like 6'9" so I can get with Leoshi, cause she don't know me, but yo, she's really fine. You know, I see her all the time, everywhere I go, and even in my dreams, I can scheme a way to make her mine. Cause I know she's living fast. Her boyfriend's tall and he plays ball, so how am I gonna compete with that? Cause when it comes to playing basketball, I'm always last to be picked, and in some cases never picked at all. So I just leave
why
on the
this part
wall,
of the show
but
is
sit up in the bleachers with the rest of the girls who came to watch they man ball.
I always like to look at her
y'all, I never understood black brother jocks get the fly girls, and I get the hood rats. I tell them
I've been watching you every time the music plays to see if you're feeling it or you're not. I noticed the last song you're kind of feeling. This one, a little bit, I saw like you were moving a little bit, but I didn't know if you had a cramp or what. But what do you think so far? Like what? Cause today is all 90s.
Oh, it's a good soundtrack.
You like it?
Yeah, what
do you listen to?
I listen to classical. I don't listen to words.
That's what our guest yesterday said too, right? Classical.
Yeah, Julian. He likes to listen to classical music before he goes out and fights because it keeps him grounded, whereas music that has a lot of energy rises his heart level or his heartbeat, and he doesn't want that.
Yeah, I don't know about all that, but I just know a lot of these words and stuff. We got to understand. Here's a little history. Who was the angel of music?
The angel of music.
Yeah, Lucifer. So you got to be really careful what you put in your mind. Look it up.
I didn't know that, did you?
Lucifer? Well, Lucifer...
Look it up, man.
All I know is...
What'd you call him? The what of music?
The angel of
music.
He's the angel of music.
He was.
Okay. I'll have to look. Danny, you're a musician, for crying out loud. You want to chime in here? Have you heard that one?
I have not. But, I mean, there's a lot of bad music out there.
I will say this. As someone
or music with a bad message, I more mean.
Yeah.
So.
As someone who loves metal, even in my height of metal and all this stuff, like, I would be like, I gotta we can only take so much of this song. I have to switch it up, and I have to go to other stuff. And
yeah, man.
When I'm doing important stuff, I like not classical, but I like movie scores. I like again, no words, a lot of instruments, and I write.
Everything we do around us is attacking our subconscious. Everything, right? So how do we guys know how to even program your subconscious?
Trying to.
Do you know how to?
Constant battle.
It's through repetition, and repetition through symbols and trauma. And trauma can be either positive or negative. So everywhere we go, everything we're doing. So even when we come in this building, especially in Vegas, they're conditioning you right when you get in this motherfucker with them bright-ass lights.
Yeah. No
right?
windows.
With
no
no
clocks.
windows. They're conditioning you, and people don't understand that's what's going on. So when we watch TV, we're being conditioned. When we're, a lot of people we're around, we're being conditioned not knowing. So I'm really, really wary. Everything I do is on the molecular level. And so these guys, that's what they're figuring out in this fight game.
You did it to us earlier.
Right.
When you were bringing up the bacon, now all I want is bacon.
You feel me?
All right, so we got music. What about television? Do you watch television? What's on your DVR?
I don't have cable TV. I have Netflix. I watch a lot of documentaries on animals and whatnot.
So if we go on there and it says previously watched, what are we gonna see?
A lot of what should I tell you? A lot of documentaries.
That's the lie detector test over there.
Yeah, yeah, I know. I'm on to you. But it's a lot of animal stuff, a lot of crime stuff, a lot of stuff like that. Documentaries.
Narcos, is that?
I have watched Narcos. Yeah. I'm always looking for the messages, right? So we know when we're watching Drugs Inc. I'm gonna give away a secret. When you're watching Drugs Inc., it's not to really inform you of what's going on. It's essentially like a how to do it. To a lot of kids in these inner cities, Drugs Inc. is showing them how to do the drugs, showing them how to distribute the drugs, showing them that. So we got to change our whole perspective. We're being programmed a lot. So even if you listen to the music, next time you watch Drugs Inc., listen to the music, and you'll understand you're being programmed.
Who's programming? The producer?
Man, we all know, man. Drugs is a big business, and it's a big business that black people don't have a plane to get it in here on. Right? So we got to understand somebody programming it, somebody bringing it in.
War against the poor as opposed to the war on drugs.
You feel me? Come on, man. It's the war. It's the war on poor. It's the war on black people. I mean, it's obvious.
You watch the food stuff?
Food? No, not really.
No, don't.
I mean,
so Narcos, you don't watch it as just entertainment to see how Escobar was back in the day, and you know how they caught him and all that. You see it as more like there's a secondary.
Yeah, I want to learn about the dude who helped him set up the transportation ring, right? The guy, you know, that they never talk about. The guy who's the Phantom.
But wouldn't you say that his biggest business wasn't just blacks? I mean, it was everyone. Everyone was doing cocaine.
Of course. But his ethnicity is also a minority, so the war is on him too. They just don't understand. Viva la raza, Black Power. We're all in it together. That's what people don't understand. The whole divide and conquer has it's been successful. I guess on the wide scale for the majority of people, it's been successful. Divide and conquer. When I look at you, I look at you, I look at you. We're all brothers. No matter what color we are, no matter where we come from, we're all brothers.
Let me ask you something. This I don't want to say analytical mindset, but you said molecular level, a way of thinking. We'll go with that, okay?
Yes, sir. Whether
it's in the fight or whether we're talking about movies and entertainment right now.
Yes, sir.
Now, do you ever find it hard? Because personally, I find it hard. Maybe me, I'll say a little too analytical on things, and maybe it's because of my background too. I had periods in my childhood where I was hopping homes and not knowing where I was going to sleep next, and I think that kind of forces you to, like you said, you grew up faster. Even if you weren't showing it, you were operating on a different level because it almost forces you to problem solve it a lot earlier of age. First forces you to overcome those adversities.
Yes, that threatens a lot of people. This mindset, there's nothing wrong with this mindset. This mindset is golden. Right, but the problem is you sometimes we let fools turn real gold into fool's gold. Right. So my mindset is real gold. People who do not think in reality, their mindset, if they think that's gold, I have something to tell you. It's fool's gold. That's the fool's gold. Right. If we're only intaking knowledge that helps out our narrative, right, that's not good to the progression of society. So sometimes it takes that analytical mind and that mind that's actually open to reality to actually problem solve these things.
Absolutely.
And that's the biggest threat in society. We got to be honest. That is the biggest threat, a woke mind.
Absolutely, and you're doing a great job as fueling it for a positive. And I definitely don't want to take away from that. But I guess what I'm asking is even for little trivial things, do you ever find it getting in the way of not letting yourself enjoy like Narcos or a movie or this or that because you can't help from whether it's your knowledge that you went out and gained or the knowledge that the world kind of gave to you growing up, whatever it was. You ever find that sometimes you have to say, okay, let's calm down, let's tune out for a second, let's just enjoy this, let's take a breath.
I have my recreation time where I do let go, but that's usually I'm in the pool or usually when I'm, something. But there's time. People are wasting too much time in this life. We don't have that many days. I mean, yesterday was yesterday, right? You got to understand. Yesterday, a lot of people didn't even get to today. So that's my understanding. So I try to maximize, or I do maximize every single day that I'm on this earth. I have to. I must.
So let me ask you, how do you view the 2 hours you're spending with us? Is it about putting yourself out there, or with getting more fans, or
it's not about
are you taking a chance on us the same way like hey, let me see what these guys are all about and see if I can work with them going forward, because a lot of times athletes, they do that, and they have their favorites or whatever. But I've never really asked anyone, but you keep it pretty real when it comes to this type of.
I'm looking for my Howard Cosell. That's what I'm looking for. And it could be a team of them. I'm looking for people who actually understand my mindset and I can actually interview with. So yes, it's a big interviewing process, and I gotta let the whole world know that it's a big interviewing process of who I'm going to use specifically. There's only be a few people.
Dang, he's gone 70s, 80s, 90s on us. Cosell's a good name to reference.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, did you guys ask my history?
Well, I mean, I like it. If I were in your position, to me, it wouldn't be about finding someone that's going to agree with me. It's about finding the guy that asks the right questions.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, because you got guys that agree with you. You got the guys who, what I've been doing for all these years, since I've been 7, I taught myself how to read using an encyclopedia. Right? I had a staff member named Mike Bryant. When I first met him, he's the guy, he used to bring yogurt to my room and a chessboard.
You play chess?
I play chess.
Okay.
So since I've been really, really young, and so he's one of those angels I was talking about. he's one of those people. So the people that I want to interview with, they got to be real. Point blank, period. Have to be real. That's it. You guys are doing good, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So I want to take you back to your early days and something you mentioned. Now, this is something we ask all of our guests, but I feel like I have to emphasize that with you because I don't want you to think, well, this is the part where these guys are being dicks. But serious, we always ask, can you share a good street fight story with us? It sounds like you may have a handful.
Oh, man. I was in this place called Frago Treatment Center, and there was 32. It was 32 kid unit. It was in East Oakland. It was a 2-story building. My roommate was Walden Chapman. So there was, I think there was 16, 32. So 16 rooms, top floor, bottom floor. There was only like 2 staff on duty all the time. And there was this living room. The living room looked kind of like this, you know, with mirrors. Well, there's only one window. And the window right here was the staff office. So imagine the staff office right here. There's about 2 staff on duty. And imagine 32 kids. The room is a little bigger than this. There's nothing but couches and this big empty spot in the middle. And what these, I was about 11, 12 years old, and what these staff would do is they would pit me versus somebody else. And I was a little pit bull in the house. And so
fight?
To fight.
A little fight club?
Fight, yeah.
Didn't I just read about that in the news? Wow. There was a teacher. Oh, man. I just heard about that in the news. I was in a lot of trouble because he was having middle school kids fight and settle their differences. And he apologized, this and that, whatever. But it was a big deal about 2-3 days ago. Man,
I grew up in that, so you know that's one of those things.
What about just scumbags? Like, why would they do that?
I mean, it taught me that it wasn't about guns. It taught me it wasn't about, you know, if you have differences. You know, now I understand on the streets.
Did they get reported?
Later, after it did, later on it did, yeah.
And so that was their game, is to just have kids fight.
Yeah, that's one of the games. Yeah.
It wasn't like athletic, like, hey, we're gonna put on some gloves and headgear.
No, man, it was fight.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
And so, how often did you do that?
Whenever they wanted to. I mean, I lost count, to be honest with you.
You knew what they were doing?
Of course. But it was back then. It was respect. Oh, and I was one of the youngest kids.
Because all the kids were kind of.
Oh man, it's the Lions Den.
Gotcha.
So you have, you know, yeah. That's the way to. I'm not saying that's the way to handle problems, but us as kids that day, at that time, that was how we handled problems.
Were the other kids forced to fight you?
Yeah.
And
we fight each other. You know, so the ages. I was always usually the youngest, or one of the youngest. So I was there from like 10 to like 12. So there was kids from 10 to 17. I was the champ.
Did that ever come crumbling down?
Huh?
I mean, did they ever get caught?
Oh, they got caught later on. The place got closed down. You can look it up. It's called Frago Treatment Center.
Wow. Man, and you just smiled and laughed it off, so your memory of it isn't one of, I mean, like.
You know, all those, like, people say.
I mean, I'm not expecting you to cry or anything, but yeah. That's just kind of a sad story, actually. You know what I
mean? People, the curses, right? So people see their past as curses. I don't see my past as a curse. I see my past as a blessing. It built this. It built this.
And what would happen if MMA wasn't here for you? Could you have been a dangerous individual? Does this turn out to be an outlet, or did you always treat it as athletic competition?
To me, this is a way that I can express myself. Like, so, I mean, whatever you want to call it, whatever label you want to put on it, you know, it is what it is. But this is a way I get a chance to express myself.
Wow. And so this was a daily thing, did you say? Or
whenever it happened, it happened. Essentially, I don't remember if it.
Could all of you be getting along and they still just wanted to make a fight?
So,
or was it one of those where two guys weren't getting along, they said, well, now you got to settle it by.
That, and if, you know, two people want to fight. And I was just always the guy who said, let's fight. Like a real fight. Like, well, I'm the gamer. You know, like some people, they're practice guys. Some people, they're, you know, the way I grew up, I'm a gamer. I like the game. Like, all the other shit don't matter. What I have to realize is I have to do all the other shit, right, in order to be the best gamer in the world, right? So that's the part that I had to learn that they don't really teach you, I guess, on your upbringing. So you got financial literacy and work ethic. Those are things that are two of the major things that are not taught to kids who are coming out of the system. And those are two of the things that I had to learn. And once I learned those, I guess the world lost their advantage as the more and more my work ethic starts to tune in. The more now the advantages are lost. Mm-hmm. There's a reason why kids that come from the system have a very low success rate. There's a reason, right? And so I'm the guy that they don't want. I'm the guy that slipped through the matrix, right? I'm the guy that slipped through free.
Mm-hmm. Did that? Was it almost like at that age, with their influence, mm-hmm. as you got older, did you feel like the same thing? You were very combative sooner rather than later? Like if something wasn't going your way or if someone just gave you a look?
No. I was never. I'm always like self-defense guy.
I see.
Once you take the chain off, then you got to deal with the repercussions. Mm-hmm. But the chain, stays on.
So that never turned you into a bully. You didn't like. So in other words, you were the alpha male apparently in this group, but going to somewhere else, you were okay with if
people to this day
you were overlooked or something like that.
People to this day, they take my kindness for weakness until they realize what's on the other side. Mm-hmm. That happens to this day. So I have to understand where that came from, right? In order to know where we are, we have to know where we were. There's a reason why. So now people are just understanding because they're seeing it on a big scale. Like, what the hell? But, I've worked on very, very hard at this, control myself, and excellent, man.
Sounds like
I made it through.
Yeah.
I made it through.
It's like Goodwill is hunting.
You know what I mean? You feel me?
The story of Goodwill Hunting there. But no, is hearing that almost makes you wonder, no wonder why maybe, like you said, maybe football or track or these things didn't do it for you.
Exactly.
If you came from that and like you said, being able to put in the ultimate position to game.
Exactly.
Now you kind of have to be, whether it's a team sport, whether it's not the same physical requirement or adversity to get over. Was that why those sports didn't click for you?
Yeah, because I'm a creator. I'm an innovator. And a lot of those sports, especially like football, those are not for creators and innovators. That's for guys that left, right, left. That's football, right? Basketball, there's a little more freedom, obviously, right? Baseball.
Yeah.
You have a favorite NBA team?
Nah.
Not even the Warriors?
I mean, I like winners.
Well, they're winners, but they're also from the Bay Area.
Yeah, exactly.
So I was wondering if you gravitated towards.
Yeah, I watch
baseball.
No. Growing up, that's one of the sports that I really wanted to play, baseball. But I was always moving around from house to house, and plus, when you got situated, baseball is very expensive, so I could never play.
I like that he made the delineation though of basketball, because I remember I want to say it was Dr. J. Julius Irving said this. It was like an interview after his career was done. But he said that what separates basketball apart, you could pick this apart, but the spirit, what he said, I liked. He goes, in football, you can throw it across. Sure, you can run it across. There's different ways to scenarios you can score.
Yeah.
Baseball, you kind of just got to run across. But with basketball, in my opinion, at least, that there's more of an artistic expression. Apparently,
yes.
Dr. J's as well, where he's like, you can dunk it, you can lay it up, but you can, the finesse, the roll, the diving between the arms, the fading away for the shot. It's a 3, it's a 2, it's a last minute, it's a clutch, and there's just so much of that rhythm, momentum, and artistic flow, and maybe that's why you may be making things click in me right now, Justin.
And the best guy can have the ball in his hand all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's a little different. In football, the best guy doesn't have the ball in his hand the whole time. Right? This is how, the quarterback, I guess.
Quarterback, yeah.
Yeah, but, yeah.
Yeah, that's wow. Interesting.
All right. Tell us about Chase Sherman.
Okay.
There was an incident pre-fight.
Okay.
In the hotel lobby. That's just kind of what came out of a show or a tweet or something. Can you tell us about that? What happened?
Like I say, man, I'm the nicest guy ever. But once we're slated to fight, or you're in my division, we're not friends. We're not friends. And then once we're signed on the fight, that gets even heightened. Then we're like enemies. Mm-hmm. We're like I'm coming to take your life, and you better be coming to take mine. Like straight up, like there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I'm a warrior.
Uh-huh.
And so these guys, they realize that really quick when they see me. It's a fight. Come to fight for real. And so when I saw him, I needed some tea. And he was in the tea room, and we had a little conversation.
How'd that go?
He knew he was in for a fight.
So you guys are in the tea room.
Yeah.
And then, like, did it start with, like, good morning or, like, hey, motherfucker, your time's 5 days away? Like, this was, like on a Tuesday or Wednesday or something like that, right?
Yeah,
or
Tuesday, I believe.
Okay, so how does something like that go down? Like,
I just told him, be ready, man.
Okay. And then and then was all of a sudden it was left at that, or did security
they start threatening security because I think because of the Conor McGregor situation.
I see.
The UFC security is like at a heightened. I mean, they're just heightened right now where they don't need to be. You know, like, come on, man. Like,
so that's all it was just be ready.
Be ready.
That's your
man.
firm comment, and
be ready. You know, a few other words. You know, be ready.
Is any of that mind games?
I don't play no games, brother. No games.
Okay, but you don't really want to fight in the tea room if something goes down. You don't want that.
You can fight anytime he wants to fight.
But you wouldn't get paid.
Yeah.
Just like that. Okay.
Yeah, man. It's not about the money.
It's about
principle and legacy. And, like, come on, man. This is I'm in it, man. We're in it.
Damn.
What about post-fight? Does the valve get turned
out a little bit? Post-fight, I win. The name of the game is I win. So
yeah, did you guys in the back shake hands?
Yeah, so after the fight, you know, like I told him in his face, like, we're cool. But if we fight again, it's on again. But because, like, I'm not a douchebag. Right. I've already said, I've already did what I have to do to get a win. After that, that's what it is. But if we fight again, he has to understand. I'm right back on him.
Right. Have you ever been a douchebag?
We've
all had our moments.
I mean, I wouldn't consider myself a douchebag, especially, you know, I wouldn't consider myself a douchebag. I consider myself a realist.
When's the last time you were wrong? In other words, I just recently reconnected with a friend that I just kind of thought was a dick. Mm-hmm. And I realized I was more of the dick. Mm-hmm. When's the last time you had, like, an opinion, or the last time you were wrong, where you could go, man, I messed up there?
I'm always wrong. We're always wrong. Or we can be wrong even when we're right in certain situations. You know what I mean? So we got to understand to really self-reflect who we are and what we do. Mm-hmm.
Does one stand out, though?
Like, when I was
like, other than picking the Dallas Cowboys as a team, is there another one?
That was a huge mistake. Yeah.
Oh, man. Been wrong? I mean, I don't know. You got to ask people around me. I don't know.
Is he wrong a lot? No.
By the way, I could never keep my arms up as high as you have for as long as you, like, your core strength is off the hook.
If you, how are you as far as when there's a fight announced? Do you have a good idea of who's going to win or who isn't, based on a lot of mental stuff that you're talking about?
You got to check on my Instagram. You know, I for big cards, for like the cards like UFC 224, 223, 205, all the big ones, not the fight nights. I give them my predictions, and you guys look at my predictions; they're pretty accurate.
And a lot of it is that based on the mental versus the physical,
like the
attributes and skills.
The physical is like this, man. If a man knows more about, like, if he knows more about me, and I hear him talking about me before a fight, he obviously was not studying himself, right? So, like me, I study myself so much that I go in there with more of a fullness and more of a understanding of who I am and how I fight, and I go in the fight with that, and also with blind faith that I'm going to come out with that win. Mm-hmm. That's it. These guys, and they should be worried to fight me. But these guys are so worried about what I bring to the table.
You said that Justin has skills to be a world champ. Was that even before you got to hear him, you know, talk his approach to the game?
Yeah, that was before. In fact, the only two check marks, personally, I was kind of looking for in this fight. I was high on Justin before his fight with Chase Sherman. But the only kind of two check marks I was looking at was, you know, the sample size is the ultimate thing. That's always tough, right?
Yes,
no matter
sir.
how good you are, we don't know that. We need a sample size to see that, right?
Yes, sir.
So just going off those metrics, quote unquote, I was just looking for you know, the power. I mean, obviously he's a big guy. He can hit. You know, he stopped guys before. That's not so much of a question. But, you know, you want to see that power standing on the feet. And I think that was pretty clear from the start of the bell to the finish. And then more importantly, how someone takes the power. Because at heavyweight, anybody can put anybody out. That's true, but at the same time, you also need a chin. It's kind of like a hypocritical statement, but both those things are true. You need a chin, but at the same time, everybody can knock everybody out, right? And I think he demonstrated those things. And like I said, he already showed the wrestling early on in his career, being able to change levels and do it at the right times, really smooth. That veteran guys have a hard time doing. He was doing it real early on. And then from striking, he's like, I always joke, it almost looks like he took like skills from the video game. Like, okay, I'll take the left cross from McGregor, I'll take the right hook from Rockhold, I'll take, piecing it together. And like I said, not even looking like an athlete, looking like a guy who's done it his whole life, but he hasn't. So when I do that quick math and I go, okay, he's got these skills already on this trajectory, he's already here. These are his building blocks. Holy crap. And so that's why I could say it without being genuine. I'd say the same thing if he wasn't here, that man, this dude is the dark horse to look out for in that division. And my picks have really suffered as of late, unfortunately. I got to come clean on that. But one thing I've always been good is when I do use the word dark horse, it usually that guy, usually for a reason. And yeah, man. So I appreciate the skill set.
Appreciate it, brother.
So I speaking of picks, I gotta face the music here.
Okay.
We do staff picks on MMA Junkie. All of our writers, editors, and the radio hosts choose who we think's gonna win. So we have like these faces, your guys' faces.
Okay.
And then our names and then our records.
Okay.
I took Sherman.
Oh, that's okay.
I took Sherman. And then but we had him on the show. And he addressed a few of his faults. He sounded like he was really tightening things up. I don't cheer necessarily unless I make a bet.
Okay.
So once this is done, it's not like I'm cheering for it. Man, I got so many parlays going on, and I'm tweeting that at the end I go, oh, how'd I do on staff picks? But my initial is just based off what I see. And I thought that almost like the fight played out, I thought you could probably get him early. But I was wondering if he kind of got through like first or second storm, if he could maybe kind of get in some sort of a rhythm. But like I told you earlier, you had a real good answer for that. Chase had his moments, but it wasn't enough. What I do want to ask you, and I want to give these guys credit, they both took you. I took Sherman, and I was wrong.
You douchebag.
But going further from that, it was brought up earlier, where do you see yourself, because you are going to get big fights, whether it's a title fight, if you are main eventing, even if it's a fight night or whatever, those extra 10 minutes, like is that something you get from strength and conditioning, or is that something?
Yeah, weight loss. There's different things. Like. So right now I walk around like at 276 right now, right? So when I first started, what you guys don't understand is earlier in my career I didn't have these resources. I didn't have what I have. I didn't have the strength and conditioning. I didn't have the nutritionist. I didn't have this, and that's no excuse. That is no excuse. I make no excuses. Like I could have did it on my own. A lot harder, but I could have did it on my own. No excuses. But now I have all these resources. So now, I started off cutting weight from 298 to 265. Then that was the first UFC fight that, pretty much passed out. You know what I mean? So that was the first one that I didn't fight with Marcin Tybura. So then after that fight, I got resources because I was in the UFC. So then Moharon, I came in, I walked around at like 285. I brought it down. Right, the performance uplifted. Right, less weight to cut, yada yada yada. Then this other dude was about 280, walk around 280, cutting down to 265. This last one was about 276, right, where I am now, cutting down to 265. Right, my next one is going to be about 260, cutting down to 255. Right, so it's this progression. That's all I'm about, getting better. So what you guys see now, and what my opponents see now, if you go by that, you're going to get destroyed. Right? Let's look at the fights. Look at the flow from first fight to this fight. Just look at it. It's completely different. My frequency is completely different every fight. Right? So that's what's improving.
I've seen two spots where it says you're 6'3". Are you 6'3"?
No, I'm like 6'1.5", 6'2".
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought I heard a giggle somewhere. All right, so you're about 6'1", 6'1.5", you said?
Yep.
All right, and then what do you want to ideally walk around at and fight at? I guess it'd almost be the same thing,
like
right?
Like 260, because a lot of these guys who wrestle and stuff like that, they have all these opportunities and they know how to cut down from way up here to down there. But when they fight me and I'm just in my natural state, I'm a problem for no matter who I fight. because I could do everything in the sport. I just have to be able to express it, right, for a long period of time. Like, I'm learning on the go. A lot of these guys don't have to learn on the go, right? That's just what it is. So imagine when I actually do, when it actually does click. These guys are fucked. They're already fucked. But when it clicks.
When you were 290, 280, what were, I guess, your downfall? Was it like junk food, too much food, or did you drink back then? And what is it that you've tightened up?
Drinking, smoking, all the vices. Conquer vices, conquer all. That's my saying in life, right? Like I said, like coming from how I was raised, the first thing you have to do is defeat all the stereotypes, all of them. There's a reason why a lot of minorities, I don't like to use that word, but just for the sake of not having people pull out a dictionary, there's a lot of vices that are put on people. Even white people, it doesn't matter what the people, right? So people drink for a reason. People smoke cigarettes for a reason. So when you actually let go, that's when you start to get in that flow state. And that's what I'm entering now.
Yeah, I'm feeling a lot of this because my buddies like to drink, and they almost like to drink daily. Not much, and none of us abuse it. But I've really started to get away from that because even though I like a good buzz, I just don't recover the next day as well. And even if it's just like 3-4 beers, there's a little bit of, I enter the sluggish stage, which I'm already in a sluggish stage as is. But I just don't want to get even more sluggish.
Yeah.
So, but when I do, I try and have a good time, and I try and be safe and all that shit. But the other vice is gambling. So I like to do it. I'm actually pretty good at it. But now what I've noticed is, man, everything's right here. You know what I mean?
Everything.
And even sometimes my girlfriend will ask me, sometimes I feel like, you may do it too much or whatever. And I appreciate the concern, right? So, but she has made me think. And so there are times where I'll actually, Dan, when we're here and I'm going to go for a walk, I'll actually go by all the machines, go by the tables, and I'll do it with money in my pocket just to prove that it's all right here. I'll sit down. I've even gone so far as putting in the money and then hitting the cash out and then going with the slip and cashing and taking my money back.
There you go, man.
The only thing that sucks is I got to pay that damn fee to Chase, because I have to pull the money out or whatever. But I wind up using that money for everything else. But, dude, seriously, it's all here. Same with the drinking. I don't know, smoking. I know a lot of people struggle with that. Eating's the one that, oh my God, that's my fucking.
Yeah, man.
That one's the tough one.
That's
for
one
me.
we have to conquer because they're giving us poison. Also, when you're coming from football, what's the mindset in football?
Calories. Besides the quarterback.
Calories, yeah.
Besides quarterback, everything is about eating, right? So that's one of the mindsets I had to defeat as well.
Yeah.
So that's all I do, man. I go through and I defeat these mindsets. I defeat these labels as they come, or as I point them out.
We got to take a quick break. You're listening to MMA Junkie Radio on Sirius XM, Rush 93. Stay close. We'll be right back. We got Justin Willis in the house.
Hey.
Hey, idiot! Yeah, you! Can you please tap that rather large fellow on the shoulder and tell him it's time for more MMA Junkie Radio with Gorgeous George and Goes? Thank you.
The 2018 NFL Draft is here tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern. Hear every pick in the first round, interviews with the players after they're selected, and analysis from Gil Brandt, Pat Kerwin, and Jim Miller on the SiriusXM NFL Radio 2018 NFL Draft Show, live from AT&T Stadium in Dallas on Channel 88 and on the SiriusXM app. All right, it is time for the daily debate, and it's in the weight class category of our guest co-host today, Justin Willis. So
the pretty weight division?
Pretty weight division, yeah.
Okay, I can dig that.
All right, so here we go. In the spirit of Fedor Emelianenko versus Frank Mir at Bellator 198, what MMA fantasy fight that never happened do you wish you could still see? Here are your options. Anderson Silva versus George St. Pierre, Chris Cyborg versus Ronda Rousey, Randy Couture versus Fedor Emelianenko, or other. You go first, Dan.
Mine has to be the shoot, the poster that you guys used to have right back here in the old studio. And that, for people who don't know, was in Affliction. They talked about doing Randy Couture versus Fedor Emelianenko. Captain America, Russia, just two great fighters, two of the greatest heavyweights. I know we can argue about who's number one, but they are in the conversation. That's my pick right there.
Goes?
I went with other. Do you want me to give my other?
I would like that.
My other was Sakuraba, Kazushi Sakuraba, and Hickson Gracie.
That's a good one.
I liked it. The only reason I didn't pick some of the ones that were there was just I felt like Silva St. Pierre would have been fun, but if
could technically still happen. But go ahead.
But if Silva won, first thing you'd say is, well, they're in different weight classes. He's the bigger guy, right? And so I was looking more at a matchup that would actually prove something at that time, and there was a lot on the line. Sakuraba had beaten 4 Gracies, and they had the one Gracie that claimed to be undefeated. It made the most sense, but it just never happened.
Big Pretty, how about you? You got one?
I'm gonna have to go with the other, and I think it's more current. I think they still can fight, and I think that fight would be Ben Askren versus GSP.
Oh, that is a good one.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with that one.
Who do you got in that one?
Shoo! I'm gonna have to go in that fight. I'm gonna have to go with Askren. I'll go with Askren.
Askren. All right.
I'll go with Askren in that one.
Mine really is Silva St. Pierre, and I'll tell you why. Because it was attached to, remember when Pacquiao fought, I think it was Claudy in Dallas Cowboy Stadium?
Yeah.
And I felt like boxing had kind of made a move on MMA. The same way MMA's kind of been throwing elbows as well. And I felt like that was the type of show that we could do, MMA, in that stadium, because it's the biggest stadium in the United States. I think as far as like capacity goes, save for like Michigan or a few others, but just for it's how modern it is and all that. And I felt like we could add a spectacle, and MMA was just primed and ready for that. And I felt like those were the two names. So there was a lot behind it, not just because I wanted to see who would win out of these two all-time greats, but I felt like those were the names that you could place in Dallas Cowboy Stadium. You could probably have done it maybe with Couture Fedor, but remember, Fedor wasn't the biggest hit in North America, so I'm not sure that it would have filled, that stadium up. And Cyborg Rousey, same thing. Maybe because of Rousey, but it's like you needed that other dance partner. And I felt like this one was the one that could do it, and we never got it. We still could. Question is, would I still get what I was going to get out of it, 8 years ago? Probably not. But if they're down to do it, I'd love to see it. So there you have it, folks. Here are the results, by the way. 1,639 voted. 63%. Silva versus St. Pierre.
Wow.
20% Cyborg versus Rousey. 9% Couture versus Fedor, and other was 8%. So there you have it. That is today's daily debate question, brought to you by the MMA Junkie Radio crew and Big Pretty Justin Willis. Let's take this call from Hal in Chicago. What's up, Hal? How you doing, man? What's up in Chi-Town?
Not much. Getting ready for another legend fight here this weekend with Fedor and Mir, so excited about that.
All right.
So any junkies going, hit me up. I would have loved to see Hoist versus Sakuhaba 3. What do you think about that?
That's a good one.
The rubber match.
Was that the second one?
I'm kidding. I don't know. Nobody cares. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. Nobody cares. But honestly, though, I would have always loved to have seen Hickson fight anybody good. That would have just been, you know what I mean? Like
I'm with you there, Hal.
Hickson versus Marco Huas or something, versus Huas or Pedro Hizzo or somebody, fight somebody. That would have been cool. How you doing, Justin? Congrats on your win, man. Look good out there.
Hey, appreciate it, brother. How you doing?
Good. My comment was on related to Emily Smith, and I hate how things went down with her, and she seems like a good gal, and I like where her heart is, but I don't know, man. If I'm be honest, I see somebody like that. She's making 30-30. She's
Leslie Smith.
No, all due respect.
Leslie?
Leslie Smith.
Yeah,
That's what I said. Leslie.
I think it was like 40.
I was like Emily.
What's going on here?
Where's he going with this?
She 31 and 31. 31 and 31. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody talks about Leslie Smith, but nobody knows about Emily Smith. Let me tell you about her. No. Leslie, yeah, they did her bogus. But 31-31 for a gal like that at this point in her career is actually pretty damn good, in my opinion. And, the UFC, look, I know that everything's not fair, but in terms of the fight game, I'm a guy who's followed boxing, and man, nobody treats their fighters like the UFC. Who gets medical coverage? The PI, the Performance Institute, they'll cook your meals, they'll massage, your ass, all this stuff. They do everything for you. So I don't know. When I see somebody like that, I'm like, man, come on, Leslie. Like, let the GSPs fight that battle. Let the Bjorn Rebneys, let these older rich guys who are set, let them fight that battle. If I'm her, just like my man Justin Willis right here, he's beginning his career. He's getting some momentum. Right now, you want to fight this battle, and now you don't have a job. And I don't know, man. I don't get it. See what you guys take on it. Justin, you're in there. But even if you got beef, it just seems like something that where you're not going to really gain much. And in the meantime, you lost a shot at working for the best organization in the world, and you can cash some checks in the prime of your life. But I'll take it off the air and see what you guys have to say.
See how. All right. I kind of talked about this yesterday. I felt like she misplayed her hand a little bit. Now, if you listen to the interviews, because she's done one pre- and post-fight with John Morgan when he was out there for UFC Fight Night 128 in Atlantic City, you could tell that meant a lot to her, was to be a part of a cause and help others, this Project Spearhead. And she's even said that she feels like she will get the 30% of the UFC fighters to I guess, fill out the card, where now they can go and find out in front of a labor board whether they can become an association or a union. But back to the fight, the thing with Aspen Ladd. Yeah, I know that fighters, when they're presented like a situation like that where they need to do a solid for the UFC, they feel like they have leverage. You saw Anthony Pettis allegedly ask for $1 million to fight Khabib Nurmagomedov. Chad Mendez, Nate Diaz both cashed $500,000, which was more than they had ever made in their fights versus Conor McGregor. The first one for Nate and the only one for Chad. So that's money that they weren't making. So there is a history there, but Leslie wanted she wanted a new contract of 2 fights for $100,000 with, like, it seemed like she was just going too far overboard, and she didn't realize her place as far as the UFC plays ball sometimes, but not most of the time. You know what I mean?
It's this simple, man. If you win, everybody play ball with you. That's just how it goes.
But she was going to be at the end of her contract, so it didn't mean that they had to sign her.
Yeah.
But you're right. She would have said 3 wins in a row.
There you go.
4 at bantamweight. And that's a division that kind of took a loss with Rousey and Miesha Tate, and Juliana just had a baby. So after Pennington, like, we're going to start asking questions like, who's next? That, along with the favor they did of her fighting Cyborg in that stadium, I felt like Leslie could have said, hey, I've shown I'm a team player. I got this other thing going on, but still, and maybe they could have worked out. So like you said, she had a longer lifeline, and she could have continued. Now, at that particular moment, I don't know how quick the calls are coming in, who she was able to consult, but I just felt like that part about 2 fights for $100,000 with just that being your show-up money, how did she expect that one to work out?
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, you can support something like a fighters union, but I think what we're talking about here more is picking and choosing your battles, and I think that's something that we all come across and need to be reminded of how to do that from time to time. So,
and Hal's other point is, what about the fact just your athletic career? You're no longer with UFC. You may not ever get a chance to win the most coveted title in combat sports. How's that one going to feel? And how much support has she gotten from the fighters? Did anyone say, way to go down in flames, Leslie? I haven't seen much support. So I'm telling you, this is a sport where it's okay to be selfish, and most athletes are. That, and I've always said, man, I don't think. Give it 5 years, and I still don't think they'll unionize or be in an association because it's too many cultures, too many backgrounds, too much selfishness, and I don't see it. It's going to take a big camp like American Top Team and Jackson's where they all say, guess what? We talked about it. Here's about 150 of us or however big those teams are, and that all of a sudden maybe send some sort of a trickle effect. But unless something like that happens, it ain't going to happen, man. Do you think it'll happen? You think athletes will ever unionize or be in an association?
I mean, I got my own union. Got the Big Pretty Army.
I told you. Showtime from Tennessee. What's up, Showtime?
What's going on, fellas?
Not much.
Big Pretty. What's up, man?
What it do, baby?
Man, I just want to congratulate you, man, and congratulate myself, man. You played a big role in my parlays this weekend.
Hey, there we go, baby. I'm happy I helped you, brother.
I hit 2 nice ones. I'm not going to really say you, Daniel Hooker, Tony Martin, Corey Anderson, and Branch.
There we go, baby.
Y'all hit me, and then I betted on each one of you guys separately, too. So
hey, man,
I just had to call in and tell you I like what I see with you.
I'm the safest bet in Vegas. People realize that really, really soon, man. As soon as it all clicks, man, these dudes, I mean, they have to deal with so much. They have to deal with a mindset. They have to deal with a prowess, a ferociousness that a lot of these guys just don't have. I haven't seen one. I mean, to be honest with you.
So you were a defensive lineman at San Jose State?
I mean, I was I guess you could say that, yeah.
Did you get drafted?
Okay.
No, I stopped my junior year.
Okay.
Oh, so basically, man, I look at you as a dancing bear, man, to be, that athletic, man. And I sit there and watch and see how, like Dan Tomlin was saying earlier, how you slipping, man. You just moving around and just slipping. Shit, I like your chances in this division, man. Keep doing what you're doing. I can see you're a very mentally tough guy.
Appreciate it, brother.
And I'm a fan of yours, brother.
Appreciate it, brother.
All right, thanks for the call, Showtime.
And I want to say, Showtime, I'm a fan of yours too, brother. Keep it up.
There you go.
Look at that.
That's very cool.
Oh, nice.
There you go, brother.
All right, guys.
All right, see you, Showtime. All right, folks, we're going to take our last break. You're listening to MMA Junkie Radio on Sirius XM Rush 93. Stay close. We'll be right back to close up shop.
They taught Andy Griffith how to whistle. Here are Gorgeous George and Goes.
All right, Big Pretty, I heard you tell Goes you can ask me anything. Okay. And so I'm going to take you up on that, even though you said it to Goes and not me. Can you give us another street fight story? But one where you were like an adult. Because the other one, we didn't even actually get to the fight part. You know what I mean? It actually just turned into like...
I was at a party, and this is when I knew that football wasn't for me. And,
so this was in San Jose State?
San Jose State. So we were at a swim house party, and we were in the backyard. And this individual, I was drunk, of course, threw a shoe. And the shoe hit the guy. And I told the guy, I'm sorry. And he, you know, it elevated.
You told the guy I'm sorry?
Yeah.
Oh, you threw the shoe?
I threw the shoe.
Oh, okay.
I threw the shoe. I was being a douchebag at that time.
Okay.
And I threw the shoe, and he came to me and said, who threw the shoe? And I said, it was me, my bad. I was just throwing the shoe, yada, yada, yada. And he pushed me.
And you go 0 to 90, right?
Yeah, he stopped. He got put down right there in the spot. That's probably one of the only fight stories I have right now.
Just a quick ta-dow.
Just one.
Nice. Did he go in the pool?
No. He went right on his ass. Bam.
Oh, wow.
Immediately.
What kind of shoe was it?
I don't remember. I just remember it was in the back of a truck. Cause, you know, it was in the backyard. It was a big backyard. And I just, you know, being drunk, being dumb, threw it up, and it hit the guy in the head. Big old black dude. He said, I knew karate. That's what it was. He says, I knew karate. And, yeah, that was.
So he threw it hand grenade
style. Was he bigger than you?
He was a big guy.
Big guy?
I don't think he was bigger than
me. And he gave you a push? Kind of just thought, this guy's a chump, I'm going to take him out? Wow. And then was the party over? Or
no, but everybody told me to go home.
All right, my man. Well, listen, thank you so much for coming in here, co-hosting, doing the daily debate, opening up about your life, the future of your career, which is very bright.
Appreciate it.
He's 7-1 overall, 3-0 in the UFC, looking for a top 15 guy in October, he said, which is when they're coming back to Vegas. So that'd be cool to see you fight in the fight capital of the world.
Oh, yeah. The UFC has to understand my next fight is in Vegas. It has to be.
There you go.
I'm the big money guy.
I like it. All right. You can follow him on Twitter. What I do with that?
Or Instagram.
Boy, what I do with that, guys?
He is at. You tell him, Justin.
At Big Pretty MMA.
There it is. At Big Pretty MMA. All right. My bad. I fumbled that one. Tomorrow, I don't have a guest yet. Still got to book tomorrow's show. Yeah.
You gonna get a good meal when you leave here?
A what?
You gonna get a good meal when you get here?
Oh no, man. I've already started the cut, man. So I'm being serious.
What you talking about?
For October's fight?
2 days ago. We gotta get down 30 pounds. Natural weight. It has to be natural.
I know that on Friday we're gonna have Dewey Cooper as our guest co-host, head coach, or one of the coaches for Kevin Lee and Francis Ngannou. So it's gonna be fun. Tomorrow I still gotta book it. But anyway, thanks to Justin Willis, Danny back east, Goes, and Dan, and of course I'm George. Have a nice day. Go out there and be champions.